March 1st, 1896. The sun blazes over the rugged mountains of northern Ethiopia. The air is thick with dust, tension, and the scent of war. Thousands of warriors, spears in hand, rifles on shoulders, determination etched into their faces, stand ready. They're not just fighting for territory. They're fighting for their history, their pride, their very existence. Welcome to What Happened, where we unravel the greatest moments in history, one country at a time. And for our 12th chapter, we are exploring the Battle of Adwa. For centuries, Africa had been carved apart by European empires, each claiming lands and people as if they were prizes in a game. But Ethiopia was different. An ancient kingdom with deep roots, a sovereign people led not by trembling kings, but by a lion-hearted emperor, Menelik II. Italy, seeking its own colonial glory, had its sights set on Ethiopia. In 1889, they tricked Menelik into signing the Treaty of Wuchel, intended to forge peace, but rigged with deception. The Italian version claimed Ethiopia had agreed to become a protectorate of Italy. But Menelik read the Amharic version. It said nothing of the sort. He was no fool, and he would not be made a puppet. Menelik began preparing, not with rage, but with calculation. He united fractured kingdoms, reached out to foreign powers, and imported thousands of modern weapons, rifles, artillery, even mountain guns. And at his side stood Empress Taytu, a brilliant and fierce woman who commanded her own army and refused to let her people be shamed. By the time Italy realized Menelik would not submit, it was too late. Over 100,000 Ethiopian troops, warriors from every corner of the empire, stood ready. From Oromo horsemen to Amhara infantry, Tigrayan archers to Shiwan gunners. They weren't a scattered resistance. They were an empire on the move. When the Italian army marched into the Ethiopian highlands, they believed the same lie that Europe told itself about Africa, that resistance would crumble, that primitive warriors with outdated weapons could never challenge modern European troops. But on the dawn of March 1st, under the shadow of Adwa's jagged peaks, reality struck hard. Menelik's forces struck with brutal precision. Italian positions were ambushed from the flanks, overwhelmed by wave after wave of determined fighters. Many Italian units were surrounded, cut off from supplies, their commanders helpless as the chaos unfolded. Empress Taytu's forces seized control of strategic mountain passes, cutting off retreat. She rallied her soldiers with the cry, "Let the women carry the wounded. Let the men carry victory." By sunset, the battlefield was drenched in silence. Over 6,000 Italian soldiers lay dead or captured. The rest fled, broken, beaten, and humiliated. Ethiopia had done what no other African nation had done in the face of colonialism. It had won. Not a skirmish, not a delay, a decisive, undeniable victory. The world was stunned. In Europe, newspapers scrambled to explain how a third world army had crushed a European power. In Africa, and among the Africa diaspora, Adwa ignited hope. It became a symbol of black resistance, a reminder that colonizers could be defeated, that empires could fall. Menelik II didn't stop at the battlefield. He demanded, and won, a treaty that recognized Ethiopia's full independence. Italy backed down. Their dreams of empire were shattered on the stones of Adwa. Today, the Battle of Adwa remains one of the most important moments in African history. A moment when an empire stood unshaken. When a king and a queen united their people with strength, courage, and strategy. When a nation refused to bow, and in doing so, changed the course of history. This wasn't just a victory. It was a roar, a defiant cry echoing across time. Ethiopia shall never be colonized. And that was the Battle of Adwa, where courage crushed empire and Ethiopia rewrote the rules of resistance. If you found this story as powerful as we did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another untold piece of history. Because here, the past isn't just remembered, it roars back to life. See you in the next chapter.